Well, good evening, everyone. This is your soul brother Talib. You best know me from being on the Reality Temple Ministries platform with brother Angel Snup Snup 7, which me and him both was a part of the Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign. However, there's something I like to talk with you about, especially and particularly those of you who are fellow dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. Whether you call yourself black people, African Americans, Hebrews, Moors, Muslims, Christians, uh, you know, Kemetic, but you are still from that same stock, you know. So from that same flock, that's who I'm referring to. And also perhaps those who are others from in other groups who are also dark skinned people living in this country or existing here in these United States of America. I like to touch up on the, the fact that, you know, now there are some people who are saying that the reason that the Caucasian is doing a lot of crazy stuff like these mass shootings, like which took place just this last weekend in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio, and which has been going on for years before then. You know, like a sister said in the video that I just got through looking at, this just didn't start with Donald Trump. This was going on even during the past 8 years with Obama in office. This was going on way before even Obama. You know, when they were bombing black settlements like Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood in Florida. You know, there's other black settlement where they massacred blacks at down in Texas back in the early 20th century, and in other places throughout America where you had black settlements where black people were trying to, as they say in the conscious community, do for self. You know, and you had these Caucasians, mainly the poorer ones from the poor class among them, who decided that they wanted to unleash terror on these darker skinned people. And like I said, this is definitely nothing new. This has been going on all the way up to this point in time, or this current century that we're in right now. And so definitely to black people in this country, this is not a shock. Rather, it shouldn't be anyway. But only to those Caucasians, especially those ones who who are not entrenched in the reality of what's going on in America, especially because they're clouded by their so-called white privilege status, are the only ones that's really shocked that this is going on. You know, but other people who are not Caucasian that's in America are very familiar with this, especially those of us who are dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. And things is getting a lot worse for this country. You know, when you talk about the political landscape and the turmoil going on in the politics of this country at this very present time, you know, where, you know, America is in a real delicate position right now. And what I mean by delicate, America is in a real position to fall right on its face. It may not even happen at this time. It may happen in the time of our children or grandchildren's future. But it's looking to happen. And whenever it happens, this country is going to fall like no other nation in the history of this earth failed. The downfall of Nazi Germany, the downfall of the British Empire, the downfall of Babylon and Rome and ancient Egypt don't even compare to what's going to happen to America as a country or a civilization, you know. And right now, with the economic crisis going on with this country, this dollar called the American dollar, of course, the petrodollar in the international community, as they say, is subject at any given time to fall. And trust me, you don't want to see that American dollar fall, because the mass shootings that we heard about last week in Ohio and Texas, there are going to be countless of many more of them. I mean, you know, considering the fact that we have over 300 million people in this country, which includes 100 some million, from my understanding, who are darker skinned people that are considered as non-Caucasian or white people living in this country, who's been trampled upon for so long as groups of people, especially those who are fellow dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America, as myself, who's definitely not forgotten about the lynchings, the cross burnings, the enslavement of our ancestors, you know, the church bombings, you know, like I mentioned before, the atrocities with Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood in Florida, you know, the current, you know, onslaught of racist police brutality that's taking place across America, you know, while many, you know, black men, women, and even children are being gunned down viciously like dogs by the police. You know, you got these racist Caucasians, of course, making frivolous calls to the police, especially on black people, black and brown people, you know, causing unnecessary dangerous situations for our people to be put into by doing that, you know, and all this other crazy stuff going on in this country. So like I said before, you know, we are in a serious time right now where America is in a very delicate situation. And I mean, by being in a delicate situation, like I said, you don't want to be in America when this dollar fall. I'm going to repeat that again, as a sister said in the video I just got done watching. You don't want to be in America whenever this dollar falls. Because the way it's looking, things is headed in that direction. You know, and it's not going to be pretty for nobody. And I don't care what color your skin is, except for those considered as the 1% that own majority of the wealth in this country. You know, and the best thing for them to do while they still can is take their money and get the heck out of America. Because if they still here, when the dollar do fall, when this currency meaningly is no good anywhere else as well as in America, hey, it's gonna be unlike an atrocity of a whole entire national uprising, unlike, like I said before, in the annals of human history. Being that this is considered as a world superpower economically and militarily, well, when that happens, like I said, this is not going to be nowhere to be. And those who have taken all type of chances to come here, whether they came from Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, or certain parts of Asia, hey, the truth of the matter is they should have chose to go somewhere else. And those that are still trying to get here from those different directions or places I just named might as well head elsewhere, even if they got to go to Europe or something. Because this place here, it's on the brink of destruction, of total destruction. And these people who are in leadership in this nation, truthfully are not interested in doing anything to turn this situation around entirely for once and for all. Because they benefit off this situation financially as well as economically. Like with the weaponry that's, causing these mass shootings to take place, especially by these white supremacists and other groups of hate mongers that's in this country. So like I said before, we are in a serious situation, and America is not getting any better, and especially it's not getting better for those of us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in this nation. And this is a constant, daily proven fact. All you got to do is turn on your TVs, go on your laptops, and get online and look at the news. It's this thing is serious out here. And this is why I stress all the time, especially to those as myself who was a dark-skinned descendant of a slave born in America. Why remain comfortable in your slave-like condition, knowing that things is not going to get any better here in this nation? This is why me and brother Talik, aka Angel Snup Snup 7 of Reality Temple Ministries, proposed the ideal of Operation Exodus Mississippi by acquiring politically control of a state such as Mississippi, which would be a safe haven. Which we could then really prepare ourselves for real mass exodus out of America altogether. So, like I said before, we tried that. It fell on deaf ears. And including those who are in the so-called pro-black conscious community that claim that they are for separation from our nearly 500-year-old oppressor, is really not interested in separation. They just talk it, but they not really interested in it. and their actions demonstrate such fact that they just ain't interested in separating from our over 400-year-old oppressors in this nation. So like I said before, you know, for those of us that truly could care about our well-being and our welfare as a group of people, once again, preferably or particularly dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America, I say, since we are not willing to unite on a common collective whole as a group of people to turn this present day situation around for once and for all, so that our future generations, can never have to experience what we have experienced so far as generations of dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America, I say we might as well just do what we got to do to survive as individuals. And what I'm saying also, even that means if we have to make an individual choice or individual family choice to pack up and leave this country and go somewhere where we will at least be treated with more human dignity as a people, because we're not going to get that here in America, especially as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in this country. We just not. History up to the present has constantly proven this as a reminder on a very daily basis. Any real leaders who tried sincerely to help us change our situation around, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, we seen what the power structure of this nation did to them. And like I said, and plus we don't have no real true so-called black leadership in this country today, which is one of the other reasons why we are in the worst situation right now as a vulnerable group of people in this country, and because we have no one like a Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey here any longer. And, because we still rely on their methods, which of course, and honestly did not work, instead of creating our own method to turn our situation around as a people in this country. This is why we keep getting victimized by these mass killings, like in El Paso, in Dayton, which, some of the victims were also dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. And, like I said before, we're going to keep getting the situations like with Michael Brown in Ferguson, Freddie Gray in Baltimore, Eric Gardner in New York City, Philando Castile in Minnesota, Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're going to keep getting these same scenarios, long as we continue on being comfortable in our slave-like oppression. Many of us is barely, making it from paycheck to paycheck, from check to check, just one step away from being homeless. In a country which is considered the richest country in the world, but has the most homeless people than any other country in the world. You know, lately I've been scrolling online, and it's very bad, like in places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland and Eugene, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, where there's a large tractors of homeless people. You got homeless people sleeping on the state capitol steps in California's state capital of Sacramento. I mean, and it's gonna keep getting worse. This is not no game. And I ain't just talking about on the West Coast. Not to mention the big homeless population in places on the East Coast, like in New York City, which I'm familiar with, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., the Virginia area, on down to Georgia and Florida, and Jersey, and, Detroit, here in Nebraska, Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. This situation with homelessness is getting so out of control with the overprice of housing, with people who's making, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, even those living in Silicon Valley in California can't even afford a place to stay. I mean, so keep on thinking this is some kind of game. This is for real. This is not a game. It's getting very serious. And like once again, once that dollar fall, that's it. We gonna really see some mass killings, massacres, people starving. People who you think would never do you wrong or kill you just because they got to eat. That type of situation. It's going to be very, very, very desperate. More desperate. You think it's desperate now? You're going to see what human desperation is when this so-called American dollar fall. Just a worthless piece of paper with nothing to back it. Yeah, that's the situation we facing for those of us living in this country of the United States. So keep on, thinking that things is going to just remain the same. That's not reality. And history, throughout the time of all humankind in this planet Earth, has constantly proven that. So, hey, be my guest. For those of you who rather live in fairy tale land instead of face reality for what it is. This is not a game. And, hey, that's the only thing I could say. I mean, you keep on playing with fire, eventually that fire is going to consume you. Just like a baby keep putting his hand or her hand over a hot stove where the fire is on. And eventually they going to fumble up and their hand going to touch that fire and that fire is going to consume them. And that's just the same thing in life generally. You keep playing with fire, it's going to consume you. So keep on playing. This is not a game. And like I said, I'm straight directly also talking to those like me who are dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. For those of you who think America is going to still remain the rich, wealthy country that it is, all the resources it has, which it really doesn't share with the masses that's living in this country, but only is shared among a few. And it's especially not intended to be spreaded or shared with those of us who are dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. And for those of us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in this country who have obtained certain degrees of wealth, like your Michael Jacksons, your Oprah Winfrey's, your Princes, your Bill Cosby, who's incarcerated, and we see how the system is tried to break them, how this society made them, and now they turn right back around and take everything from them, whether they attained it through hard work or not. They turn around and take it right back from them. And we see this happening constantly. So believe me, those of you, especially those of you who have wealth among dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, don't think that you're not exempt from this catastrophe coming upon us as a people and as a country which we exist in as a group of people. And all this is coming to light right now. All the, so-called white supremacists is coming out the closet thanks to this current president that we got of this country, and also other people like him that's in power or in position that's calling shots and controlling things in this society as a whole. They coming out the closet. And like I said, it didn't start with him. So it ain't no sense in putting all the blame on Donald Trump because it didn't start with him. As I critique one sister saying, which I'm sure she wouldn't mind me critiquing her, because it's basically the truth, But like I said before, either you gonna wake up and smell the coffee and get out the way, or get burnt. And it's just that simple. We could keep on playing this game all we want to, thinking that things is going to remain the same. This country could end up at war. Look what's happening. They just attempted to try to start another war with Iran. This country is already in serious economic debt, which the American dollar is subject to fall at any given time. Like I was saying before, early on in this video. Then you got them trying to start trouble with other countries like North Korea, which also has missiles. You got, anything could just erupt in this country. And we'll be the most vulnerable people caught up in the middle of this, which I'm speaking as of those of us who are dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. This is why me and Brother Talik tried to push that Mississippi campaign ideal so hard out there, because it's very important that we have a safe haven from all this. But like I said, most of you are not interested in separation from our over 400-year-old oppressor. So at this point, it really don't matter. And like I said, basically, we could keep on playing with fire. Those of you that want to keep playing with fire, let me just rephrase it, because I'm not included in that, because I don't share that type of way of thinking with those that do, But like I said, we are, as a people, we're in a very delicate, vulnerable situation, as the rest of the country is. And we are at the very bottom. And that's not a good thing. Why this whole country as a whole is in a very delicate situation, which anything can really cause things to really get out of spiral in this country. Well, like I said, when this dollar fall and you see a bunch of hungry, starving people that's willing to kill anything, including their mama, just so they can eat. This is serious business. So keep playing games. That's all I can say. I mean, really, to be truthful, before I even got on the platform with Brother Angel Snup 7 of Reality Temple Ministries to propose this ideal, the Mississippi campaign thing, I was really done with black people. But I said, well, heck, I understand where we are as a people, with what I know, and so let me try to see if I can help the brother reach out to our people, with this ideal. But really, I was done with black people, especially since I had left that so-called pro-black conscious ideology crap alone, a few years ago, and haven't looked back. Because I seen that wasn't getting nowhere in terms of us changing the reality of our situation as a people in this country. And like I say, all you got to do is just look around. I mean, we had all these religions, whether it was Hebrew Israelite, Muslims, Kemetic teachings, Nubian teachings, Egyptology teachings, Afrocentric teachings, and we still find ourselves in a slave-like condition as a people in this country. As a matter of fact, all that's the second death right behind Christianity. As far as letting truth be told, So, I just want to, I just wanted to, shed light on some stuff, particularly as far as what's happening in these critical times that we're in. And, tomorrow you will see me, on a Hangout Live, with Brother Talik and also our sister Novine, or however you. No, I'm not going to mispronounce her name. out of respect, but it's a sister that's going to be on there probably with us tomorrow also. And so you will definitely be hearing more from me on this subject as well on our live hangout. But I just wanted to, point this out because this is very serious. We're living in serious times. And I say to us as people, and especially as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in this country, wake up. As it says in Revelation, come out of her, my people. And with that said, I'm Audi 5000. Peace.